Dilatations. So we're being asked to do a dilatation, which is a stretch or a shrink. Okay, so you're either stretching the shape or you're shrinking the shape. And we're doing that about the origin. So the origin is your point of similarity. It's the point that you're stretching it away from or shrinking it towards. Okay, and this is our K factor. So the K factor is what you're multiplying all the coordinates by. All right, it's the ratio of the new shape to the old shape. You can think of it that way as well. All right, so what we're going to do, very simply, is we're going to multiply all the coordinates by 4/5. Okay, and the easiest way of doing that is dividing by the denominator first and then multiplying by the numerator. All right, so the B point, which is at 5, 10, okay, so we're going to divide the 5 by 5, and that's going to give us 1, and then multiply it by 4, and that's going to give us 4. Okay, the 10 divided by 5, you get 2 times 4 is 8. So our 5/10 is going to become 4/8. Okay, which is, here, let's click on the shape to copy it, and then click on the dilatation tool and drag it in. Okay, or you can click on the dilatation tool first, if you like. All right, so instead of being 5/10, we're shrinking it down to 4/8. So you just click on the shape and drag it. So if I drag it towards the origin, it shrinks. If I drag it away from the origin, it grows. Okay, so it's either a stretch or a shrink. Okay, that's what dilatations are. All right, if you drag it past the origin, it flips and becomes a negative dilatation. Okay, so if your dilatation is negative, it means it wants a flip. Well, it's not really a flip, it's a negative dilatation. Okay, so it wants it to be inverted. All right, and that's our answer. Okay, so on level 6 of dilatations, all you have to do is to use the dilatation tool, pick one point, figure out what that's going to be. In fact, you can often pick just one coordinate of that point. Like if we looked at the 5, divide the 5 by 5, we get 1 times 4 is 4, so our 5 becomes 4. So we just drag it until the x point is 4. And then we click the check button to check to see if we're right. Okay. Here our K factor is 6/5. Now notice 6/5 is bigger than 1. Okay, this is an improper fraction. So because it's bigger than 1, we expect the shape to be a stretch. Okay, it's going to grow. So we're going to divide, we're going to pick some convenient point like the B here. The B is at -10. We're going to divide that by 5 and multiply by 6. Okay, notice our K factor is positive, so we have a negative times a positive. Our result is going to be negative. Okay, if we have -10 times 6/5, right? So we have negative times a positive, we're going to get a negative. So I'm going to divide the 10 by 5, so I kind of ignore the signs. I remember that it's going to be negative. So we divide by 5, that's 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so I can click on the B shape and then drag it until that x coordinate is -12. And there we go. Here we have a negative K factor. Okay, so it's going to be on the opposite side. Now our K factor is 4, that means it's going to be 4 times the size. Now I can look at some convenient point like my C. My C is at 3, 0. So I'm just going to look at the x coordinate. The 3 times -4 is -12. So I'm just going to click on the shape to copy, and then drag that 3 until, whoops, it's at -4. So I'm taking the whole shape and bringing it this way till that C is resting on -12 on the x-axis. All right, and that's all there is to it. All right, 1/12, so I'm going to divide all my coordinates by 12. And if I look at my A, it's at -12, -12. And dividing by 12, it's going to be -1, -1. So I click on the shape and then drag it to -1, -1, like that. Okay, here my K factor is 4, so each point is being multiplied by 4. If I look at my A, it's at 2, 1. If I multiply those coordinates by 4, that's going to give me 8, 4. So click to copy and then drag it to 8, 4, like that. All right, and that's it for dilatations on level 6.